Hi everyone, my name is Bryce Van Ross. I'm a math graduate student and I work as a student assistant archivist at the Special Collections and Archives in the University Library. Black History Month was originally created as Negro History Week as early as 1926, later nationally recognized as Black History Month in 1976. Although there are several black figures recognized over the years, like Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks, there's always more people that can be celebrated. For example, two alums from Cal State LA, Julian C. Dixon and Mervyn M. Dymally, are California politicians you probably never heard of. As the curator of this exhibit, I'll give you an overview of who they are and how their impact matters to us now. Let's take a look at the exhibit. Here we have our first case, featuring artifacts of Mervyn Dymally. Artifacts include his materials from his time at Cal State LA, materials while in office, and awards for his contributions politically and for his efforts in the Los Angeles community. This magazine was from the LA Brotherhood Crusade, showing Dymally with key black politicians of the early 1970s. This award from the Legislative Black Caucus recognized him as a living black history maker due to his many achievements, and here we have a plaque of his BA in education, which he earned here in 1954, and at the bottom right of this yearbook we can see a young Dymally at Cal State LA, formerly known as Los Angeles State College. In this drawer, we see some of Dymally's campaign materials. We see here some matchsticks, pot holders, and buttons that were used for campaigning. This photo shows Dymally being sworn as first black lieutenant governor of California. This news article also recognizes him being California's first black senator. This drawer highlights some of Dymally's affiliations. He was recognized by the Cal State University system and by the Black History Committee of the National Science Foundation for his efforts in promoting education. He was also recognized by the NAACP for his community efforts and the Legislative Black Caucus for his political leadership as chair. In this last drawer, we note that Dymally was largely influential in making Black History Month recognized at the state level. Here we see documentation and a photo of him passing a bill on Black history being taught in California schools with former Governor Pat Brown, for which we have a building at Cal State LA named after him, the Pat Brown Institute for Public Affairs. In his early years prior to his political career, Dymally was an educator within LA public schools, serving special needs students. In this second case, we have artifacts of Julian Dixon. Artifacts include photography of key historical events, his materials from his time in office, awards for his contributions politically, and for his efforts in the Los Angeles community. Shown here, in 1979, Dixon received the National Black History Week Award for his work within the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and the Department of Justice. Years later, including after being in the Army and becoming a sergeant, he would work heavily with military intelligence, as shown here. By 2001, Dixon earned this medal and certificate for his years of service in National Defense Intelligence. In this drawer, we see a few of Dixon's promotional materials, illustrating women's contributions to his campaign success. Like Dymally, he also used potholders, among other items, to secure votes. In fact, his wife wrote her own letters and delivered them around the neighborhood with such potholders for many households in the LA community. Here are some banners that were also used, including one where he was running with Yvonne Brathwaite Burke. She was a California politician that achieved the first of many offices as a black woman. This drawer highlights major local and international issues that Dixon contributed to, particularly in the early 1980s. Here is documentation Dixon highlighted involving what was then referred to as black-on-black crime, as well as a bill in favor of funding anti-crime policies and community resources. On an international level, Dixon also pushed for the designation of African Refugee Relief Day in response to the African refugee crisis. This last drawer highlights some moments throughout Dixon's life. In 1991, he was honored as Humanitarian of the Year by the Los Angeles NAACP. A participant in several local community events, in 1983, we see Dixon attending a Martin Luther King rally, and in 1986, we see him in a protest to boycott against Shell for being a supplier of oil and money to apartheid South Africa. This case shows artifacts related to Black history from the perspective of California. We start with a magazine of the California Black Caucus. The California Black Caucus envisions Black Californians as having equal opportunities, an increase in political participation and representation, and advocacy, among other issues. Dating back 40 years ago, in 1982, we have a Black History Month exhibit made by Dixon and Dymally. This final case shows artifacts related to Black history from the perspective of the United States. We start with the Congressional Black Caucus, which was first founded in 1971. Dixon and Dymally were members of many iterations of the CBC, and while in the 96th Congress, they both served together. Eventually, in different years, each of them chaired. We end with a unique portrayal of Black figures that changed the U.S. for the better, like Dymally and Dixon, among other greats shown here. Be sure to come by to visit Special Collections and Archives to learn more about this exhibit and find out about scheduled tours. See you soon!